Mark,
Hey, Paul.
what's happening?
Not much as celebrating the fact that we only have to do this one more time for Absolute Martian Manhunter.
I was gonna save it for the next issue, but I'm like, I was gonna say, well, this issue was easily my favorite. And then when you say why, it's like because it's the last one. um, we'll take a look at Martian Manhunter number 11, and we'll take a look at Absolute Batman number 20 right after this. Before we get started, don't forget to make sure that you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you're alerted whenever we upload new content. And do not forget, leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing. We read every single comment. So make sure you do that as well. So, two issues this week. This is my second favorite issue of Martian Manhunter. Um, so we got Absolute Martian Manhunter number 11 and Absolute Batman number 20. So let's start with Absolute Martian Manhunter number 11. So that happened.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Right. It is still very. I mean, he tries another thing with the. First of all, let me just start off by saying that if you looked at the Eisner Award nominations, it does very well. Um,
Yeah,
so
that's pretentious.
there are a lot of people that like it apparently, but all the absolutes, Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute Martian Manhunter, all did very well. Um, I called that Absolute Batman Annual was going to be an Eisner Award winner nominee, and it is. So it should definitely win. But he tries another industry type, change, like a new thing with the industry. He's done the Martian Vision a couple times where you hold up the page to the light and you can see through to the page on the other side, and it kind of forms one image. Here, he's telling you to basically cut a page, cut part of a page out, and if you do, you can actually change the story, or at least the violent nature of the story.
And
So
did you do such? Did you cut the book?
I did not. I'm
Me
smart
neither.
enough to just say, okay, you know what? If I were to cut the book, this panel would not be here. What would that look like?
I mean, you can tape it back in there, right?
You can, yeah, absolutely. Um,
Yeah, I didn't take. I didn't cut it either. I didn't buy one. I just read it digital.
right? Makes it harder to do that when you do it digital.
It really does.
I lost the whole bottom of my monitor. I don't know what happened. um, but basically, we have Martian Manhunter again, and this time now we have Despero, um, who is kind of in Martian Manhunter, who are kind of now making a play, both of them, for John as he's going through his life, and he's seeing lots of different things. He's experiencing lots of different things. Um, we have the white. Martian Manhunter is still there as well. He's trying to do that. We still have the people that are after the Martian Manhunter. It
How
is
are they coming through pictures now? What is that?
what's that?
How are they coming in and out of
Oh,
pictures now? Like posters on walls. How are they traveling through photography and art on walls?
I'm not sure. It's very difficult to know exactly what is actually happening and what is just what he is thinking is happening. What he is perceiving to be happening as well. And that's one of the biggest problems I have. And again, maybe I'm just not smart enough to get the level that this brings it to. But we've said it before. One of my big problems with this is that I have to look at every single panel for like 10 minutes to try to figure out what's happening. And then again, maybe I'm just not smart enough to do that. Um, but that's one of the big problems I have.
I still talk to people on my live streams and in chats whenever this book is mentioned, and still I'm not even over exaggerating. Still, not a single person, not one, has been able to explain f all about this book.
Mhm.
Not the first thing about it.
Right.
Like I don't like this is the most just completely fake glazing of a title I've ever seen happen. Like I get the art is very creative, is
Mhm.
very well done, but it has nothing to do with what's being written half the time. And like it just there isn't a story in this. And we talked about it early on when we were both kind of still really on board trying to find the footing of the book. There's a concept to each issue, and then nothing happens with that concept or they don't do anything with it. But you can see where there's an attempt at a concept. I was thinking back on it, and with like the first three issues, we almost talked about how like the first page and the last page of the book is all you have to read. Everything that came between it was a nothing burger kind of
Mhm.
thing. And I think that hasn't changed. It's just it's weird.
Yeah, I think one thing I'm actually looking forward to in regards to Absolute Martian Manhunter is I'm looking forward to when Jason Aaron does his crossover, is to
Yes.
see how he approaches the character.
Yeah, let someone else write the book, let him interact with other people and just see what happens. See what his takeaway, like when he looks at this and talks to the writer and stuff, how are you going to present it when it's not in your own little self-serving little thing here?
Right, because they discussed now, I believe, did verify that Absolute Martian Manhunter will be part of that crossover that they're going to do
Mhm.
later on this year. So that'll be interesting. Um, but we basically end up again at the end. We see John with his wife. We see Absolute Despero, who feels as though he has won. John is his. But got one more issue.
Potentially 5, 6 more entities surrounding the kid that's checked out to lunch, just sitting there, just spaced out.
Hmm.
A whole fight between the G-men and the Martian in the streets that's just abstract, weird, and makes no sense.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
bouncing around and just magically in a building, then magically in front of your wife. There's no flow at all to this book. One thing, the entire book, a non sequitur is the best way to describe this book. It is a non sequitur personified. The entire thing.
Yes. I'll will gladly admit that I'm not going to shed a tear when we don't have to review this anymore. So,
Mm-mm. Yeah,
but
between got nothing for this book.
but Absolute Batman number 20.
Polar
Um,
opposite.
Polar opposite, which is kind of funny because I mean you have the Robins. This is probably the last panel in the entire book of the story. So it actually doesn't happen until the very end, and the Robins are in it right at the very end, and then that's kind of it.
Hey, how
Um,
clean is your copy?
it does have a tick. It has a tick right in the right there, just one.
Just one? Oh, not bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
all the ones here came in clean.
yeah. Sort of my
Yeah,
Absolute Martian Manhunter has a tick too. So
well, that's okay.
yeah, exactly. But again, they're going to give us the second printing for free, which is fine. If I was going to send it off to CGC, I would be more upset. But it's like, you know what?
Yeah,
The odds are I probably would have done it myself, just knocking it off the table by accident.
dude. A lot of times, if stuff like I don't mean like excessive damages, but like when one or two books might have a few ticks in them, they come in. A lot of times, I'll grab those copies because I know I don't care, and I'm just going to read them, and I know that it isn't a book that'll ever be worth more than I pay for it that day, and I'll buy those so that the persnickety customers that might view them differently have I'll just take those. Yeah, we ain't got to report them, we ain't got to send them back, and
Right.
ain't got to worry about it. Just happy camper. I'm the
Yeah, I
same way
mean,
there with you.
I watch people who walk into the store that my LCS and they like take the entire stack and they like look at every single corner. It's like and everything. It's like you know what?
Mhm.
Just grab one and go on your way.
Like, bro, it ain't that serious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Absolute Batman number 20. Dude, it starts off in an interesting way, doesn't it?
And the Joker
We're in the
cave.
manor. Yeah, we're in the Jack Grimm Manor. We're going behind the grandfather clock down the stairs into the cave to see the Jack Grimm Joker computer setup where he's monitoring and looking at all the events from previous issues, from Black Mask to Bane to everything that we've seen so far to Gordon falling in the last issue. He's got the giant penny, he's got the T-Rex, and he's
Yeah,
got his chair, and that's where things get really different. Is his chair, Paul? You have the chair page there?
I do. He's he's having lunch.
Yeah, it looks like he's feeding on a bunch of stuff and things.
Yeah. So he's got the babies, and he's basically got the tubes into the babies, and then he's got the other end of the tubes into him, and he's basically having a snack on the babies. Um,
Yeah. Ugh.
yeah.
Ugh.
We switch now, and we go to a local television program that is talking about the Robins. Again, we're not going to see them until the very end, but he's talking about the Robins and how basically the Robins are what this broadcaster is saying is basically the antithesis of Batman. The Robins are basically, were created and are here to do good, as opposed to Batman. Robin's good, Batman bad.
And unlike Batman, these young brave men and women have suffered great tragedy.
Mhm.
I thought that was a funny little thing. There's assuming Batman hasn't.
Right. We then see we see Bruce. He still has the folder. We get confirmation that Dr. Crane and the Joker basically have played Bruce Wayne, have formulated a plan way back when to basically make Batman out of a young Bruce Wayne,
Mm-hmm.
because we see it says Dr. Crane believes Bruce to be susceptible, and so that's kind of how. And we'll also get confirmation a little bit later on to something that you brought up last time, which is um, remember those crows from the first issue?
Mm-hmm.
We'll
Yeah,
get that
about this
confirmation as
time.
well.
Yeah, about this time, Bruce is sitting there brooding. I
Hmm.
guess he is more similar to the regular universe than we thought because he's brooding, and he
Hmm.
gets a little calm. Speaker comes in, and it looks like it's Catwoman. Says, "Batman, are you there? Please tell me you didn't do this."
Hmm.
Referring to throwing Gordon off the roof because when Gordon jumped, Batman was there. People seen him, assumed it was him, kind of thing. And then we get into a little bit of Harley and Alfred action.
Yeah, Alfred says basically, you're not going to bring that door down with just a hammer, and she's like, "This is like the T-130, so vibranium, aluminum, steel hammer. It's not just a regular hammer." And in one blow, she basically brings down the door, and
So
they get
Harley has
inside.
her own little absolute hammer, her absolute mallet.
Right, exactly. Um, and it is actually, sorry, it's a 92,000 volt magnesium amplified double lithium electrochemical thunder it,
Mallet.
mallet.
Thunder beep mallet.
Yeah. And we see they go in. By the time they get in there, Alfred and Harley, Bruce is gone. Then we switch back to Waylon, we've seen now the Riddler is starting to progress and become more like the Riddler that we might think.
He seems to be healing from his Bane injuries, and he's
Mhm.
really leaned into the gimmick. Not only has he got the whole techno thing meshed in his head, he now has it wired up in this room with this dome shaped 3-dimensional screens, and his head's plugged into the middle of it. And I guess that's just normal for these people because Waylon's talking to him like, "Hey man, we got to go help Bruce. Bruce, he helped us. We got to go help him. He's lost in his head, Eddie." And
Right.
Eddie's kind of he's kind of cooked, man.
Yeah. He basically, he's just throwing out these answers to questions that only he hears. But then he basically has the ability to surveil just about anybody, and so we see some quick shots of what's going on with Harvey Dent. We see a very quick shot of Harvey Dent, who I believe is on the cover of the next episode, the next comic, I
Yeah,
believe,
there's a lot of
next issue.
exclusive variants already going up where you get a good look at him. He's like the animated series are going with the blue on the face and the black and white suit. It's really
Right.
cool.
We see Oswald Cobblepot. We see the Penguin, as Edward Nygma is kind of running through all the different people. We get these views of what's going on.
And with
Um,
the penguin, you see his new get up, the metal harness on his back
mhm,
that goes down to what looks like crutches that potentially double as guns.
mhm. Who is basically he's going dancing with some C4. Basically, is
Yeah.
what he's doing. Back to Waylon and Ed, and of course, he basically is. They're having a heart to heart, and they're basically saying, Waylon saying, we need to seize back control of what's going on.
Yeah, he finally gets Ed to snap out of this little just talking riddles to the ether thing. He's like, "Look, man, I get it. You're healed. You're back to normal. I'm not there, dude. We're not all there yet. Like we're kind of broken, my dude." And then we get a little flashback back to Bruce outside of the jail when he was talking to Falcone. about doing his stint in jail because of throwing the fight, taking his money, all that stuff from the previous issue, and learned that he was his guy on the inside while he was there.
Right. He was in charge of finding out how everything got in and got out without being detected.
And
Basically, is
what this flashback does is it serves a purpose of now in real time, Batman has a first-hand experience and knowledge of the jail, the layout, its inner workings, because now Batman is heading to the jail to have a conversation with somebody.
yes, Mr. Joe Chill. Um,
Ooh.
who is, if you recall, in I don't know, but in one of the previous episode issues, um, Bruce would always go and they would talk to each other. They would sit down. They would talk to each other. And the last time, Joe Chill got up and left, and now he refuses to see him anymore. And
And
so
now
he,
Batman is aware that there was a whole dossier on that day at the zoo and that it was orchestrated. So, did Joe Chill even kill his father? Why is he rotting in jail? He needs answers. He's going to go attempt to get them.
right, he keeps saying, who was it? Tell me who, tell me who put you up to it. Tell me who was pulling the strings. And just as they're about to talk, we find out that Joe Chill is not alone in his cell.
Yeah, they're sitting there talking, and someone just sparks up a match laying on the cot in the back, and it's none other than the straw man himself.
Mhm.
Blows
Who
immediately lights up cigarette, blows smoke in Joe Chill's face, which we saw. That seems to signify the way that he passes on the fear agent that he's using, potentially. Well, that's
right.
what we're left to assume.
And so he tells Joe to go make his bed, and so he goes and he makes his bed, and then he starts to have a discussion with Bruce. And it's here that we learn the one of the reasons, or we think that we're told or led to believe that the main reason why they created Batman from Bruce Wayne is because of Martha being part of the Court of Owls. And what's the natural predator for an owl? It's a bat. And so that was the reasoning behind making Bruce into Batman.
And we find out that the straw man isn't just some talky talker, because as soon as he says that, Batman freaks out and yells, "Shut up!" and reaches for him. And he moves fast. He backs up, pulls out a butterfly knife, flips it open, and immediately stabs Batman right under the meat of his arm.
Mhm.
And while he's talking, you have the crows flying around Joe Chill, who's now made it to his top bunk after making his bed.
Right. This is where we get like you said, we get the confirmation of the crows from the first issue. We see that the straw man is actually has Joe Chill doing a little bit more than just making his bed. He basically he has convinced him now to hang himself inside of his cell. And so as he's doing that, Batman is obviously screaming. It's funny that he can get inside the jail, but he can't get inside the cell. You would think that he would be able to get inside the cell, but
Yeah.
uh,
Well, he throws his cape out there and he
yeah,
grabs Joe Chill and he's trying to hold him up for a minute. And Scarecrow just simply takes that blade and just cuts his cape, and then you got Joe Chill just hanging there, Batman freaking out, threatening to tear him apart. I'll tear you apart. And Scarecrow simply says, "I guess that's my cue." And he turns around and he walks further into the cell, which he just walks into the corner where it's shadow, and he just vanishes into the shadow. Very
yep.
interesting.
The alarm goes off in the prison. The officers come running. Bruce dives out of the prison to who knows where. Um, Quick flashback again. We go back. We see very funny that he actually is being given. He graduates as part of the deal that he went into the prison to figure out exactly where everything was how it was getting in and leaving the prison, all the different ways that was happening. Now that he's back out, he's given a bat.
To be Falcone's enforcer
Right,
or his Batman,
right,
which is kind of funny. We
exactly.
cut back to real time right after that to see Batman gliding through the air, having just got out of the prison, just for him to be talking with Alfred, and then something to arise through the clouds and meet him face to face in the air. And it's not other than a giant freaking Jaeger, a giant jet Jaguar, one of the giant Robin units, Robin Unit number 1, aka Dick Grayson.
Right. So we get Robin number one, which is Dick. We get Robin number two,
Grayson.
which is who's that? Jason, right?
I'm assuming they're in order.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Dick,
Yeah.
Jason, Tim,
Robin number 3 is Steph. Robin number 4 is Tim. I think
Duke.
Robin number 5 is Duke. So, but we basically see all of them now have basically cornered Bruce. Bruce takes the bat off of his chest and sets up his little hammer and axe or whatever that he wants, battle axe, and that's what we get. Basically, the cover of the issue. That's what will
Mhm.
start the next issue.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty cool stuff.
Um,
Yeah, the Robins. One has a big mech, one has a little mech. Two of them have kind of one-wheeled motorcycle transformer suits. It's interesting tech that old Jack Grimm has got them
mhm.
built out in that Slade revealed to him at the end of the last issue.
Yeah, like I said, Eisner Awards, Snyder, Dragata,
Kelly Thompson.
Kelly Thompson, Hayden Sherman, Darren Warren Johnson, James Herron, um, all were nominated. I think Absolute Martian Manhunter, I think, has the most, but just by a nomination or two. Then Absolute Batman, then Absolute Wonder Woman. Um, should do well. Next week we have Absolute Green Arrow number 1, which set a record for Absolute. It's shipping the most number 1 issues so far, 300,000. Absolute Green Arrow
It's a lot of
issue number
books.
1. Yeah, and Absolute Flash number 15
Hmm.
as well. So we have both of those coming up next week. But we will be here. Don't forget to make sure you like, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you're alerted whenever we upload new content. And don't forget to leave us a comment so we know how you're liking what we're doing. But that's going to be it for this edition of DC Comics Deep Dive. I am Paul. He is Mark. I did it
But
again.
we are Legion.
And you're now leaving Sector 2815.